Great, thank you, John. Good evening, townspeople. Calling to order the meeting of August 23rd. Selectman Jaworski will not be in attendance this evening, so it will be Cindy Doty and myself, Brian Moriarty. Under announcements, we have a few, and I think the first one is a long time coming, so I would like to announce and let the townspeople know, if you didn't see it in the newspaper, that the sale of the former center school across the street has been completed. It's been closed. All the attorneys have signed everything that needs to happen, and we're ready for the new owner to start doing their thing and get moving with the condos over there. So thank you for your patience. Marlene, thank you for your perseverance in pursuing having that come to fruition.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, the town of Hatfield 350th anniversary will be in the year 2020. There was an informational meeting held on August 14th, and the Selectmen will be appointing a steering committee, which will hold an official meeting on September 14th. We'll be doing that at our next Selectmen's meeting in September.
18th. Yes, that's September 18th.
Oh, sorry. Well, they'll have a meeting on September 18th. Yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. And our meeting will be on September 12th. And we see the steering committee as really being just that, sort of overseeing all the events that might be part of that 350th celebration. And of course, we're going to need many, many townspeople, and we hope many, many townspeople will be part of that process, because there'll be, I would imagine, music committees and parade committees and all sorts of event committees. So more to follow on that. We've got a note from Chief DeKoschak that anybody who is looking to do sales exchanges that they might have arranged for online, such as purchasing something off of Craigslist or eBay, can use the front parking lot in front of the police department to feel safer and have a better atmosphere for making that type of a transaction. So we want everyone to be safe, and the chief brought this to us and just wanted us to let you know, we just arrange it with him in advance that there's going to be some sort of a meeting to an exchange of goods, and he'll be sure to have himself or one of the officers there during that time. And lastly, or my last announcement, is for our housing committee. The housing committee, what we're looking for are residents willing to look at the actions to develop efforts to help increase the number of affordable homes in Hatfield. We had actually signed on to this with the state back almost a year ago now, I think, Marlene. It's an appointed position, and for more information, you can contact Marlene. But in essence, we'd be looking to have people work with the planning board and maybe the Hatfield Redevelopment Authority and apartment owners, et cetera, to look at affordable housing. So far, we've only got one resident. I think we're looking for 5,
Yes.
a committee of 5. And we've had one person sign up quite some time ago, but we're really looking to fill that committee and to get moving on that, to meet our commitment with the state. And again, for more information, you can contact Marlene's office. Cindy, did you have any announcements? Or
No, I don't.
You don't? Marlene, did you have anything else? Did I miss anything? Or?
No. Just,
It's okay, you can say it.
Well, regarding the executive assistant Keeno.
Oh,
I'd
I'm
like
sorry.
To just to acknowledge that.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had that on a separate piece of paper. And for those townspeople that weren't aware, we did have and accepted, with regret, the resignation of Key Eno, who was our senior executive secretary, not only to the board, but to Marlene and in the town office. So Marlene is in the midst, we've already advertised for the position, and we're in the midst of doing interviews and accepting applications for that. So normally we have 2 town secretaries, and for the last week or so, it's been 1. And that's where we stand right now. So if you just bear with us and be patient, we will hopefully soon be back up to full staff on that. Thank you. Okay. All set with that? Okay. All right, so that's it for announcements. Excuse me, is there anybody here for the public forum? Seeing And hearing none, we'll continue. We do have minutes from August 2nd, executive session minutes to approve. If there's a motion for that?
I did have a question on that, but
Sure.
because it's executive session,
That's okay.
we don't bring it up, right?
No, well, we're putting them
public.
into public. So by approving these, they are now released to public.
But they're not yet. I have a question.
Right.
on
Right.
that question.
Is it just
Is it-
an error,
This,
or you looking for clarification?
no,
You know
just-
what,
can take-
Cindy, you
we
can take it up
we
with
can
me
take-
later on, and then we
Yeah.
can approve them at the next meeting.
Yeah, I was just going to say. we
Sounds
can-
good.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome.
That way we'll,
Thank you.
yep, that's okay. All right. Better safe than sorry. All right.
We'll just table them to
yes.
our September 12th meeting.
Yep, we'll table those to September 12th. Okay. Marlene, under the town administrator's report?
Yes, topic 1, you have in your packet a request for approval of a temporary position in the treasurer collector's office. This individual will work 19 hours a week at an hourly rate of $14.42.
And I think that this position, again, it's temporary, and this position was
This goes in
suggested by...
in line with the report that we had
Correct,
received from Bay State
Yep,
Municipal
from-
Accounting. But again, it is a temporary position
Right.
to assist that office and give the treasurer collector time to, frees up some time for her to do the reconciliation.
Right.
All right. I did have a question. I read through the responsibilities, and it was my understanding, after reading the report from Bay State, that they were trying to free up the treasurer collector and not have to do the counter, because that seemed to be a distraction, having to go back and I noticed for the responsibilities, they've got one person is waiting on the counter, the second person is the backup waiting on the counter, and then under the treasurer, it's like the first responsibility again is working the counter. I thought it was to free her up.
Well, you know what,
Goodness,
Cindy,
you know.
if I may, I read that too.
Right.
I
lot of the
believe,
duties
well,
are
I
there.
believe that second page is what the responsibilities currently are, which is why, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you look at that second page, I think what
Sure.
the treasurer's trying to say is, we need that person because this is what I'm doing right now.
And just keeping in
You
mind
know
that
what
the
I mean? I
temporary
don't-
person is 19 hours.
Right.
So when that individual is not there, the collector, treasurer collector may have to
No, it says
take care
Sharon
of
does
counter.
that, but there was just duplication. That's
Yeah.
all. If they're dividing up the
Right.
the duties, they've got 3 people doing the same thing.
Well, again, I think that's what's happening currently, but, I mean, we can get clarification on that. But we do know that the idea is to have that...
We're freed up.
that-
What's the
you're
point of
right,
hiring
to-
somebody? Yeah.
Exactly, to have that person temporarily to be able to do those tasks at the counter and greet the public, so,
Yes, when she's here later on, we can get clarification of that.
okay. So you're looking for a motion to go
To
forward with, to approve this?
the temporary position, the hire for the temporary position in the treasurer collector's office.
Okay. And what we don't know yet, and this is temporary, so this, we don't have an end date yet, but we're looking to get things in order, so this isn't going to be an indefinite position, so helping us get over the hump. All right. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the temporary position as presented.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay.
The next item is the representative from the school committee to the capital planning committee, and the town clerk has received notification that that individual will be Michael Poshak, so the Board of Selectmen would approve that appointment.
Make a motion to appoint Mike Poshak as the school committee representative to the Capital Improvement Planning Committee for 2017, 2018.
Yeah, second that?
Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Next, we have appointments to the Emergency Management Planning Committee.
Right.
And this is sort of a restructure, reassignment of representatives, representative positions
Yep.
on the committee. And so those individuals are listed in the memorandum from the town clerk. And
Okay.
she happens to be here if you have any questions.
Okay. Well,
There's been lots
go-
of questions.
yeah.
Yeah, apparently some of them are corrections, and some of them, since the emergency management hasn't been meeting,
Corrections and replacements,
and replacements, but
Replacements.
since they haven't
because the chief
met
retired.
this summer, the clerk has one list. I had another list. I updated it, but nothing's been voted on, approved in any direction. So we're hoping that this will get us to where we need to be to get it approved.
okay. So, so we'll make the motion. It's a little wordy, but it covers a couple of different things. So I move to rescind the appointment of any previously appointed individual to the following, and delete the ambulance alternate representative, and hereby appoint the following representatives to the Emergency Management Planning Committee. Selectmen representative Marlene Machonsky, police representative Mike DeKoschak, police alternate representative Clint Phillips, animal control rep Scott Pomeroy, Department of Public Works alternate Tony Listowski, and the ambulance representative Bob Flaherty.
I have a question. The selectman's representative, can that be anybody, or is that the town administrator?
It can be anybody. In the past, it's been a selectman,
Okay.
because I think when Ed Lesko was the selectman, he was the representative to the Emergency Management Planning Committee.
I believe that's correct.
But when I perused the charter, there didn't seem to be any indication that it had to be
Okay.
a certain person. I mean, they did want someone on the board to be an elected official. So I'm trying to think, is there someone else on the board that's an elected official?
Yeah,
Yes,
but-
Carrie Gunn, Board of Health.
That's right. That's right. And Jane is there as the COA director, so Council on Aging is represented. I can't think of anybody, any other elected official.
Fire chief, did you mention him?
Fire chief's not elected, though.
Oh, that's right, okay. I'm just going around the table
so-
thinking everybody's on it. Yeah.
I think that may,
So we could, you make
may
the
be
appointment
it.
tonight, get it done, and then,
okay.
If something
You know,
changes.
the board can have a discussion as to whether they'd rather have a board member be on the emergency management. Well,
We,
we kind of have one already because.
well, that's
Yeah.
correct, so
Yeah.
I don't know that we could have a second.
Right, that's true, yeah.
And in the
Because
past,
there's
it
only
was
three of-
tough for a selectman to be at those meetings. They're held during the day. But it depends on who's on the board. Sometimes we have retirees, and
Sometimes we don't.
that's right.
Sometimes we think we're retired, but we're not.
Right. Is there an issue?
No, I don't have
Oh,
an issue.
okay, you-
I'm just curious. I realized, it's not the position, it's
Yeah.
the person, I guess, and it can be anybody.
It's probably the board, a board member or their representative.
Right.
And
I-
you drew the short straw.
Darn.
I know it.
You're laughing, but you're right.
All right, is there any further discussion? Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. All right, our next topic is a note from Chief DeKoschak
Yes.
about the detail rates.
Right. And he is their current detail rate is $40 per hour. It has been for quite some time. And he lists in his letter surrounding communities and including the state police rate, which is $50 per hour. He is recommending that the rate of $50 per hour be approved. Although he would like to maintain the hourly rate of $35 for related details in town, town-related details. And he's also asking if he may be allowed to set those rates in the future.
Okay, so, well, first, I think on top of that, I'd just like to state, so, and people are probably aware of this, but, so these officers are paid out of a revolving account. and
Correct.
It's through the billing of the contractors that
Right.
that are actually hiring our officers to, for the details, so,
Correct.
for the police details. So I just want people to know that that's the way it works, and that there's no burden on the taxpayers of Hatfield for this.
That is right.
This is simply the rate that would be charged to the contractors or whoever our police details are hired by, so. Just wanted to say that first.
Always been handled that way,
right.
yes.
Secondly, I would say, I don't have, personally, I don't have a problem with the chief adjusting the rates in the future, but I think it would be, I think it would be helpful, and he probably was going to do this anyways, if we decide to go that way, to just keep the board in the loop, so we, we're aware of any changes that take place down the road. That's my opinion on that, so.
Okay, and so he's just looking to be able to set the rates, not to make changes, though. Is that right?
He'd like the authority to
Changes
either
in-
raise or lower the rates in the future.
Okay, but not make changes, okay.
And in that, his setting those rates, raising or lowering the rates would be based on the rates of the state police. So he'd like to continue using the
That's the
rates
guide
by
for
the
the
state
state
outside
police.
detail,
Right, he's going
yeah.
to use that as a
When he
guide.
talks about the 35 for the town, though, I understand that's like school dances and such, but if it were to do a detail for town work, like if they hired an officer to do for the DPW, like paving the road or whatever like that, a lot of towns, and I don't know if he means a 35 for that or not, a lot of towns, if the officer works for the town itself, they only get their regular pay rate.
I
don't know
believe
if
he's
he's-
referring to the $35 an hour for
So that would,
town-related details. So if it was something for the highway department, if it was a detail for,
because the
paving the
35, I
streets.
believe, is like for when they do a school dance or they do something down the pavilion or things like that, that the town does, but I didn't know if
Okay.
it meant for also the DPW also, because then that would be the DPW, that would change. Would that come out of the DPW's account?
Depends how the project's being funded, probably.
Yeah.
I will
I
ask
mean-
him for clarification.
Yeah, well, the other thing, I think it's for both, Cindy. I think it's for the school dance type thing and for, to be honest, for any town details.
Any
it's a-
related, yeah.
I guess, the
Because
only other thing I would say is he's
There's
not.
usually two different rates.
Right,
is
he's
what I'm
not
saying.
changing, in this instance, it already is $35, and he's not looking to increase that. He's looking to keep it at $35.
Yeah, that's for the schools, the
Yes, for
school type stuff, but I wondered if he was looking to change the road work also, if it's a town
Well,
entity.
his
I think
letter
it's any- I
doesn't
think
mention that it's
right.
specific to school events, I think, or does, no, he doesn't.
Right.
Elections.
Yeah, my interpretation of his letter is that it's any or all town-related.
Correct.
I
what
will
it
ask
says, any
him,
related
Previously at
details.
Right.
elections, were they getting paid their regular rate?
35.
$35,
Getting that detail rate already?
yes.
Oh, well, because most towns won't do that. Yeah.
Oh, you thought it's the rate that the officer is paid
Yes.
as an employee of the town?
Yeah,
Oh,
and sometimes.
I didn't
yeah.
realize that, yeah.
Okay. Because it's for the town that they're already employed by,
Which I think is why we're getting the reduced rate. The
No, I'm
35
saying they get,
versus.
no,
the-
say they make $20 an
No,
hour.
Oh, I
that's
know what
they
you're
get the
saying,
20,
right,
yeah.
right.
They don't get 35,
Right.
yeah. Okay. And the only other thing I asked about was, he wants to be able to change the rates, but not change any of the rules, I guess is what I want to say. I know some towns have changed their rules if it's
Rules.
if it's civil disobedience, or say it's a strike, like Verizon goes on strike, it's a totally different rate.
Oh,
For
perhaps,
civil
yeah.
disobedience or anything like that. So is he looking to change the rules for
Well,
do that, or just the rates? Is my only
I would
question.
just maybe suggest that we table this until the September 12th meeting and ask the chief to attend, or I can email him those questions and report back at the meeting on the 12th.
I don't want to keep making you table things, but I just wanted to know, if
I
there's going to be
don't
all these
know.
different changes, if,
I can't answer
Right.
we do
those
have a couple
questions. Those,
Verizon places in,
right, those are
in town.
questions that the chief would have to respond
Yeah,
to.
but those companies would hire those police officers to do the detail, right?
Right.
Correct, and they would be,
So,
and so they would be charged the $50
Right.
that the chief is requesting.
Right.
right.
But what I'm saying is he wants to be able to change the rates. I get that. Does he want to change the rules also? So that's different.
Doesn't
to
say
me.
that, it simply says.
He's
the
not
rates.
I wanna know if it's
asking
just the
about
rates.
rules, but.
It wasn't clear to me.
Yep. I mean, if everyone's comfortable, we can do the rate part of this and then still ask
No,
the
we can
question.
do the whole thing. I just
About
wanna
the
know.
question about the.
I just want to know. I don't
the-
want to get jammed up if there's something like that.
Right. Right.
A lot of towns out east have because of the changes. They come in expecting the $50 rate, and it's a lot more if it's civil disobedience. So
Okay.
like double. Or triple sometimes if it goes after dark.
Maybe he'll come
Which would
back
leave
with
us
that
without
next year.
anybody doing that. Yeah, okay,
Right.
so want to approve this for today then?
Sure,
I'm good
yeah,
with that.
okay.
so,
Motion to accept the detail rate as presented by the police chief?
Second,
Any further discussion?
no.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay.
All right, the next is right to know.
Yes.
This is actually an appointment that the Board of Health held some time ago, and the appointment hasn't been filled. The fire chief has, I guess, indirectly resumed that role. He's comfortable with it, and I have provided you with a copy of, actually, it's a right to know notice that we should publicly post, and I'll talk to Lydia about posting that out front. Oh, it is, okay, I wasn't sure if it was. This is an appointment made by the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
It can be, somebody else, but in most communities, it's the fire chief or the Board of Health, and this is somebody that, oversees the rules and regulations of hazardous
Right.
materials.
Right, if somebody, you have the right to know what's being sprayed around
Yes,
you or
yeah.
so that's the go-to person.
So we'd like to
It
make
seems
this
to make sense
official.
that it's, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's stored
Yep.
next to where you live too.
Right.
yeah.
So the recommendation is to appoint the fire chief to that position.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, does he get all the tier 2 reports anyway, as does emergency
So he knows
management?
what-
So he
right.
already knows what's there, so,
All right.
that's,
So I'll make a motion to appoint Fire Chief Gahn as our right-to-know representative. Is that the right
Second.
word?
yes.
Okay.
Second it?
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
The next item is sort of a revisit, I guess. It probably should be under continued old business, but last year, or earlier this year, I had had a brief discussion with the Board of Selectmen regarding our current IT maintenance and support, and that is through the Hampshire Council of Governments IT program. I have continued to monitor our current services, and we continue, there's been some improvements. I, however, feel that it is in our best interest to look at other options, and in doing that, I'm recommending to the Board of Selectmen that I be charged with looking at those options, and under the contract with the Hampshire Council of Governments, we are required to provide them with 30 days written notice. This is really not, I'm not at that point, but I just feel in all fairness, we should let them know that we're going to explore other options.
That's fair.
And I have a letter that's prepared
Yep.
to be sent to the Executive Director of Hampshire Council of Governments, Todd Ford. if the board accepts that, then I would ask that the chairman sign the letter this evening.
Okay, and it's only 30 days notice? That's it?
Well, 30 days notice
A
if we're
year
going to
for it to get out of
withdraw
HCA,
from
yeah.
it. And I feel that we should explore the options. And then if we're at a point that we are going to withdraw, then we would give them that notification. But this is a courtesy to let them know that we're going to
Sounds
look
good.
at other options.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's a courtesy, and I think it's a heads up, too. So,
Smart thing to do.
you know, yeah, so I think that's a great idea, Marlene, thanks. So, I don't know, do you need a vote or just the two of us agree? Well, I agree that we should
If you're in agreement with
send that.
it, yes,
Yeah,
if you're in
okay,
agreement
so-
and comfortable with sending
Yeah,
the
and the
letter.
wording's fine. I think it was just very short, sweet, and just a heads up, so, yep. I'll sign that after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Building maintenance.
Yeah.
We have a contract with SJ Services that will be expiring September 30th. That contract, service contract oversees the cleaning, maintenance, not really so much maintenance, but cleaning anyway, of this building, the emergency services building and the highway garage. And we have continued to have issues with the contractor. Again, it expires September 30th. So we would have to either put that service out to bid again. I'm proposing that we look at that option and some other options, maybe employing a building maintenance person. I would recommend that Brian is the liaison to the DPW director, and myself, we could get together and have some
Have that
discussions
bring
about that and
something back to
report
the
back
board, yeah.
at our next meeting.
Yeah, because currently, the way it's set up is building maintenance falls under the facilities manager, which is the
Right.
DPW director.
Right.
So,
Because the contract expires September 30th, if we are going to bid the services again, we need
Yeah,
to
get
to
moving.
start working on that.
Okay,
But I would recommend that we have a
Yeah.
conversation regarding that.
sure.
Okay. Thank you.
You okay with that? Cindy?
I'm good with it, yes.
Okay.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Continued old business.
Actually, Marilyn, could I just interrupt 1 second? Sure. Just looking back at the letter to Mr. Ford. Okay, it says HCOG in here, and I think that would be fine. Maybe Lydia will know. But they officially did become HCG to improve their image. So I don't know if it's
became
official, do we need to put the new letters in or not?
They did, they.
Not Hampshire Council of Governments?
No.
Yeah, it stands for something else.
It's
Oh.
just an informal letter, just giving them a heads up, right?
It does say, well, that's not us.
What are, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I haven't received notification that.
No, there
Yeah, it
was
was
an
in the
article in the paper
newspaper.
Okay.
earlier this
And what are
week.
they now?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I
I'm
thought-
just saying
HCG.
the letter you're sending isn't anything.
A legal document.
Legal document,
Or
you gotta hang your
contract.
hat on it later, and it's just a friendly,
I want to say,
This-
well,
this is
it's
what's
not us
going on.
anymore.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, they took the O out?
I'm
So it's just
sure-
Hampshire Council
yeah.
Government?
I'm sure that's not the only letter they'll be getting with the wrong name on it.
Okay, okay.
I'm sure.
So for the future, though, I'll need to make sure that I have the correct address for them. In your packet is the memorandum of understanding that town council developed. This is regarding an agreement or memorandum of understanding with the town of Hatfield and Center School LLC. This is something that we had addressed several weeks ago prior to the closing of the center school. And I'm asking the Board of Selectmen to vote to approve that and endorse it.
Yeah. So this is just, this is after the sale, it's just, as
Right,
Marlene
and
said,
town
it's just,
council had said this would not impact the
an MOU,
closing.
memorandum of understanding.
Right.
That the buyer and the seller agree.
Right. This came as a result of the testing monitors in the vicinity of the center school.
Okay, all right. I make a motion that we sign the memorandum of understanding as presented by town council.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And for the board's approval and the chair's signatures, the letter of agreement between the Hampshire Council of Governments and the Hatfield Community Preservation Committee. Again, this was another, we signed a previous letter of agreement for Smith Charities. These articles were approved at town meeting. These are just the contracts to execute
To sign
the
off on them
project. Correct.
for something that was already voted upon and agreed
Yes.
to in May at town meeting. Okay. Do we need to vote it again or just sign it? I mean,
Voting to approve the
voting,
letter
okay.
of agreement.
Make a motion to vote the letter of agreement between the Hampshire Council of Governments and the Town of Hatfield Community Preservation Committee.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Also, I had hoped to have the contract for final design and construction administration services for the town hall renovations.
Yep.
And town council was finalizing his comments in response to the final edits. And I would like to have a telephone conference with the architect, and council did not complete that prior to him going on vacation. So I hope to have that by the end of the week.
Well, he's been busy working on the center school, Marlene. All right, so kidding aside, so we're not able to sign that tonight.
Right, I do not have
This
it
has
for
to do with the
tonight's
final
meeting.
design and construction for Phase 3 of the town hall renovation. Along those lines, if we could, Phase 2, excuse me. Along those lines, if we could, I know this isn't up to town council, but when we're having conversations with the architect, if we could get even a tentative timeline from them soon, we won't hold them to it, but I think the employees of town hall and the COA and the folks downstairs, we need to give them a heads up and have some notice as to when this is going to kick off so that we collectively can
Figure out.
have a plan in place and what we're going to do. But we just don't want anything, we don't want anyone showing up next week all of a sudden and
Oh, right. Yeah.
and disrupting things. So, any type of, if they have a game plan as to what they think they might work on first, when it's going to start, and which floors it will impact and when, I think that's important to know so we can get the word out. So,
And some time ago, I had spoken with the architect and expressed interest in having a meeting before, actually just prior to the project starting. Come in and sit
Yeah,
down
yeah.
and have all the
all
departments
the
that will be
players here.
affected by this.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's
Because it-
important.
The Council on Aging does not know where they're even going to go
Right.
while there's construction down there. so-
Yep.
Right, yeah, we're looking at I've had some conversations with
So have I.
Carrie and Jane about potential locations.
Yeah, so would I.
So,
Yeah, just so we can have a game plan in place, Okay,
All right.
yeah, thank you. So hopefully we'll have that wrapped up and we can sign off on that at our next meeting. So you got-
Community compact update.
Yes.
So I have addressed this at the last couple of meetings, and the Department of Revenue Division of Local Services was here today, and we spent several hours with the financial team discussing, reviewing this financial structure, management structure. We also discussed the projects that we were prepared to take on. And after, giving it some careful consideration, future planning and forecasting is probably not in our best interest at this point. And as you know, Bay State Municipal Accounting, working with the town, assessing the financial management structure and reported out on that. So something we've agreed on, which will be very important or key to the financial management structure, is the financial policies of the town. while the town does have financial policies, we're going to expand upon those with the assistance of the Division of Local Services. And it'll be more defined and clear as to who's responsible for performing the financial tasks and the process, the procedures. So as I said, they were here for several hours this afternoon. It was an excellent meeting, and they will be following up with us and hope to have those financial policies for the board's review the end of September.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. Do you have a question on that, Cindy? or-
No, but it's probably more for the finance committee.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
just the reconciliations and stuff, where
All
we
right.
stand.
So, so more to follow on that. Again, it
Yes.
has to do with policies, procedures, who, what, when, and where on a go-forward basis, which is important. I think we all need to have those in place, so we know what's expected and there's accountability. All right. Oh.
thought I was
Forgot to turn the
finished.
page. I thought I was about to wrap this up, but topic number 12, an update regarding the executive assistant position.
I have been interviewing for a position that Key vacated, and several applicants. There are a couple of applicants that I'm comfortable with performing that job. There is an individual that I'm prepared to offer the position to, but I would like to have further discussion with the Board of Selectmen regarding the salary and the overall position before I actually make an offer. So the board and I will have to meet in executive session. And perhaps between now and our next meeting, which isn't until September 12th, if you have some available time, maybe to meet during the day for just maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
Sure.
Because I'd prefer not to wait until September
No,
12th.
well, if there's qualified and good candidates out there, we don't want to, miss an opportunity to at
Absolutely.
least, put you in a position to make an offer and hopefully get somebody on board sooner rather than later. So that's fine. I can clear my work schedule once you deal with
Okay.
Cindy and Ed and
Okay.
pick a date maybe next week.
Yes.
I don't know when, okay?
Yes.
So we can do
Do
that.
that.
I'm glad you've gotten
Like
some
to-
applicants and that you've gotten some qualified applicants and someone
Or a
that you're
couple and-
already excited about, so that's
Yeah.
good, okay.
Yeah.
Great,
So that, just for future topics,
Yeah.
and you have in your agenda there, I'm continuing to evaluate the human resource manual, and we'll be bringing forward to the board articles that we need to, well, we're looking at every section or article under
Right.
the HR policy. I just don't want you to think that I've lost sight of that.
it's a big document, Marlene,
Yeah.
so we have to chip away at it.
Just still
That's fine.
adjusting to some changes with the absence of Key, and then the other secretary was sick, so all of us are
Busy woman.
dual role here.
Yeah, everybody's been busy at town halls.
Yeah.
It's, the good news out of being down a person and then having the other secretary ill is it, everyone kind of came together and has been doing a really good job to keep things moving, so appreciate, on behalf of Cindy and I, and I'm sure Ed too, thank you. So I know people are doing double and
Welcome.
triple duties.
Thank you.
and-
Yeah, everybody is, even the assistant town clerk has been in the office
Yeah.
helping out, so I really appreciate that.
Good effort, so thank you. All right, so this meeting will continue in about another 10 minutes or so with the Finance Committee, but unless you have something else, Cindy, I was just going to suggest we just take a recess or, break for 10 minutes.
I just have
until-
one more item I wanted to mention.
Sure.
For future topics, the water main transmission project, which will be
Yes.
going out to bid shortly.
Right.
And we are anticipating submitting a grant application, a Mass Works grant application. I would like to have some communication with Mike Ohl about that.
Yep.
But just that actually Representative Colcott will be meeting with town officials on Friday
Right.
to take a look at our infrastructure and projects that we would like
Sure.
to submit to the state for grant funding.
Yep.
So that's, I just wanted to mention
No,
that.
thank you, yeah. We'll let Representative Colcott know that we'll take anything he can do for us. All right, is there anything else?
That's all I
Marlene,
have.
Cindy?
Thank you.
Actually, I can just mention, I had
Yeah.
some residents asking about water service being extended on Straits Road, so I did speak to Phil about that because
Yeah,
they're doing
did you get
sewer
your answer?
projects.
Yep.
But it's nowhere near where the
Yeah,
water's
it's the
needed,
first
so
se-
it's not something that can be done at the same time,
Right.
really. So we did have that discussion.
Okay.